And now, folks, it is now time that we are going to cap this off with the grand finale. And for this grand finale, oh boy, this definitely is a grand finale because I saved the biggest story for last, in which we will be discussing one of the most trending documentaries that we have so far, and like I said before, the most popular docuseries of 2024 so far. And to this day, people are still discussing about it. They're still talking about what has happened, what these people went through, and really making us second guess about how we experienced these shows before, especially when they were once very well beloved. And what I am going to talk about here is actually in regards to Quiet on Set. Now, for those of you who don't know, I'm just going to go and give you all a quick summary of the documentary here. Quiet on Set, for those of you who don't know, is actually a 4-part documentary about what happened behind the scenes during Nickelodeon when they were making their live action shows that would star kids. Specifically, the ones created by Dan Schneider from the late 1990s all the way up to throughout the 2000s and stuff like that. And they would go and discuss about what happened during the making of shows like All That, The Amanda Show, Zoe 101, Sam and Cat, iCarly, and a few others as well. And they would go and discuss with these former child actors about their experience there. And they would go and talk about how much of a nightmare that it actually was. And some of the subject matter that they went into is absolutely horrific. It's not just the factor that there was this toxic work environment, and that Dan Schneider is an extremely problematic individual with his own massive set of problems, but also there were also times in which there were some legitimate criminals that were working in there. Specifically, not one, but multiple child predators. And there are some stories where they would talk about how they would go and really take advantage of these kids, and in some cases the worst way possible. And the biggest example that they even dedicated an entire episode is with Drake Bell, who was a part of the cast of The Amanda Show, and then had his own spin-off series with Drake and Josh. And he would talk about his experience, specifically with one individual named Brian Peck, and how that pretty much turned his life into, like I mentioned before, like a real nightmare. It's just an absolute living hell. And yeah, it really is a lot to process. And I know what I'm talking about is very dark, but when you watch it, it's darker than you may think. And I'll just say now, like, just to give out my quick thoughts, it's an amazing documentary. It is very well done. It is great, and it really sticks to, like, the message of this entire story that they're trying to tell, and really emphasizing the poor working conditions that child actors have to go through, and some of which that they're debatably still experiencing today. And especially to watch out for, like, these kinds of toxic individuals like Dan Schneider. Now, I do have my criticisms as well, and there are some things that I do wish upon that it would expand, or that they would have looked into more. Like, I wish they could have, like, really looked into Amanda Bynes specifically, like how she was once Nickelodeon's biggest star, and then suddenly how she went into her downward spiral, and how being a child actress really affected her mentally, and how that became increasingly difficult when growing up. Or even with Drake Bell, as much as he is a very tragic victim of what he experienced, there are also some crimes that he has done as well that he's not innocent either. Like, I feel like the documentary just glanced over it, that honestly should have been, like, a bit more of a highlight to talk about as well. But Overall, though, I still say it is a great documentary. It is a very heavy documentary, especially if you're someone like me who grew up with shows like All That or The Amanda Show. Like, they're fantastic, but it's like it's a great series. It did very well in terms of what it's trying to do, but it's the kind that, like, you can only watch it once because, oh boy, it's a lot to sink in. And even, like, as I'm recording this, I'm still trying to let what I've witnessed to think that in. But what I want to go and talk about specifically, it's not necessarily just about the documentary, but some of the responses of what happened with this documentary. And I'm using this article from the Mary Sue, by the way, because this actually did well in terms of summarizing what happened in terms of those controversial responses. Because there have been some former Nickelodeon stars that they did put out their piece on the matter, and some really did not go well. One big example is with Josh Peck, who was the co-star of Drake and Josh alongside Drake Bell. And, like, they've basically been TV brothers, even, like, starting out with The Amanda Show. And around the time, like, at the height of Quiet on Set's popularity, Josh Peck put out this little TikTok video that was very ominous. And I'll just quickly show you what it is. It's basically Josh Peck lip syncing to this one clip, and it goes like this.
If I haven't talked to you since 2023, take that as a fucking sign that you don't exist to me anymore. Damn, you fucking bug. You got sprayed with the raid. Bye. See you never.
Like, okay, maybe that, okay, or I don't know if it is like I don't know if it is someone, if it is like actually lip syncing to a different clip, or if that actually was Josh Peck. But like, he just posted that clip, and he didn't necessarily provide any context other than the fact that, well, it was released around the same time as everybody talking about Quiet on Set. And a lot of people have interpreted that as Josh Peck's response to what happened to Drake Bell. And as a result, a lot of people gave Josh Peck hell for this, thinking that this is his response to Drake Bell and what happened to him, and him saying that he doesn't care. Because it is true that the real relationship between Josh Peck and Drake Bell has been very complex, and that their friendship was very on and off. And a lot of people are thinking that this is Josh Peck just making fun of Drake Bell and stuff like that. And just a lot of people, as you can see, there have been several posts where people are just giving him some serious backlash over this. And it didn't necessarily help either that Josh Peck was also just blocking anybody who would go and message him regarding either Drake Bell or regarding the Quiet on Set documentary. So, like, it just added fuel to the fire. But it wasn't until Drake Bell himself actually addressed the whole controversy related to Josh Peck. So I just want to go and show you what he has mentioned. He actually responded through his own TikTok, and this is what he has to say on the matter right over here.
I just want to clear something up. I've noticed a lot of comments on some of Josh's TikToks and some of his posts, and I just want to let you guys know that this is really processing this and going through this is a really emotional time, and a lot of it's very, very difficult. So not everything is put out to the public, but I just want you guys to know that he has reached out to me, and it's been very sensitive, but he has reached out to talk with me and help me work through this, and has been really, really great. So I just wanted to let you guys know that, and to take it a little easy on him.
So, according to Drake Bell himself, apparently what did happen behind the scenes is that Josh Peck is actually aware of what happened to Drake Bell and has actually seen the documentary and is actually helping Drake out. Like, he contacted him privately. He's checking up on him to see if he's okay and stuff like that. So the best case scenario of all this is that what Josh Peck actually put out, I think it's a massive miscommunication or just very poor timing to put out a TikTok video like that. Like, if he put it out like sometime before or anywhere or anything that is unrelated to the Quiet on Set documentary, it probably would have like been okay and nobody would have like thought much about it. But it seems that now with Josh Peck, like, he is being he is more and more openly supportive of what's been happening to Drake Bell and that he is actually helping him out. So like, now their friendship is starting to be a lot better in this case. So in this kind of situation, yeah, like, I can understand why some people would be like a bit thrown off to Josh Peck's TikTok video and might interpret that the wrong way. But it looks like, it might be a bit of a misunderstanding, and that, Drake Bell and Josh Peck are actually very cool, and that Josh is showing his support to Drake and also to the previous people at who experience what they have at Nickelodeon. And I just want to go and quickly mention, I am aware that there have been some past comments where Josh Peck was defending Dan Schneider, saying that he was just a tough boss per se. But I can imagine that there is a possibility that after witnessing what he has seen with Quiet on Set, that maybe his perspective on Dan Schneider might have changed, and maybe he won't be as defensive towards Dan Schneider as he was in the past. But then there is another response, something that went even worse, and that is specifically in regards to the cast of Ned's Declassified, specifically with Devin Werkheiser, Lindsay Shaw, and Daniel Curtis Lee, in which they actually have their own podcast that they're still doing today, in which they're just reminiscing their times of, when they were kids, working on Ned's Declassified and stuff like that. And they actually did a TikTok live stream where they discuss about Quiet on Set and the stuff that they have revealed. And they mentioned about how they felt very fortunate that they did not have that same kind of experience. They did not go through that same kind of toxic work environment as the people of All That or The Amanda Show or iCarly and stuff like that they went through. But apparently it doesn't just stop there, because on top of that, they somehow believe that the things that Drake Bell and the all cast people, what they went through, for some reason they thought it was absolutely hilarious. And here's a quick little clip of that live stream that they've done on TikTok.
Coming.
Daniel, I told you.
Daniel, we told you never to speak about that. Get back in your hole, Daniel, and give me your holes. Sorry, we shouldn't joke about this. We really shouldn't.
This is awful. Why are we doing this?
Because this is about us. Listen, our set was not like that. And no, it's fucking awful. The Drake Bell shit is that's crazy to hear. That is fucked, man. And that never came out, which is really wild. Really wild.
That's how he was talking about it.
Boop.
Boop.
Okay.
Oh, so y'all were in on it. Oh, God.
Damn.
Wow.
I'm not talking about this anymore.
No.
Talking about this anymore.
No.
Guys, we can't joke like this. Jesus. Guys, we're sometimes humor helps us move through things,
Yeah, 100%.
We need Missy on the pod.
Yeah, I mean, I understand your sentiment that, humor can help you get through some tragic times. I know some people who can be like that as well, but this ain't it, Chief. Holy crap, this ain't it. Like, y'all are treating Quiet on Set like it's a freaking comedy hour, and that Drake Bell is just doing one of his usual bits like in The Amanda Show or something like that. And I mean, it really doesn't help that, like, he, like, during the live stream, he's just filling himself up with, like, all these little like, filters, and you see, like, you know, like, just these, like, little pop-ups that would appear on their heads and stuff like that. And yeah, like, the thing is, with the way that they're joking about it, it's like, nah, this ain't a freaking joking matter. I don't know if you've watched the same documentary as I did, but yeah, there's nothing funny with what has happened in the entire documentary. Like, that whole thing, I just gotta say, that was absolute cringe. And apparently, like, not just the actors, but the whole podcast that they were on has been also gathering some backlash as well, considering that there's been a history of bigotry, and that, yeah, it turns out that, yeah, the people in the podcast and the former cast members of Ned's Declassified, they would absolutely be the kind of douchebags that would laugh at stuff like this, that they would just be pulling jokes at whatever, regardless of like how serious the situation may be or how much people actually got hurt. So, like, and I know that technically it is true that they did put out a proper apology afterwards, and even, like, Drake Bell himself actually did like, reply back by saying, Ned's declassless. This is this is wild. Laugh it up, guys. Laugh it up. Give me all your holes, really? And then it wasn't until Devin Werkheiser did put out an apology in which he actually stated on social media, I was being an idiot today. No way around it. I feel horrible that my dumbass was even speaking about this without seeing it. I watched Quiet on Set tonight, and I am horrified by the gravity of what Drake and others shared. Truly heartbroken about what my fellow actors went through. I can't believe they weren't protected. I'm sorry for compounding any hurt. Like, seriously though, it's like, nah, man. Like, you should have watched this. Like, even I went through the trouble of actually watching the entire documentary before even commenting about it. And I mean, like, the fact that you just blindly jump in and then suddenly you just want to make jokes about it, it's like, nah, man, it's like, it's way too late. You absolutely messed up. Like all the people there, like all the Ned's Declassified people, like, who were involved with that live stream and in the podcast, just take the L and shut up, okay? That's all you can do. Just, again, take the L and just shut up. But that is nothing compared to what is the worst response out of all of them. Yes, much worse than even what we have witnessed than the Ned's Declassified one. One that everybody is really piling up that this dude is just the absolute worst and shouldn't even be making a response in the first place. And that is in regards to debatably the main antagonist of Quiet on Set, Dan Schneider himself. Yes, Dan Schneider actually went and made a 20-minute or so video about him addressing what happened with Quiet on Set and tried to make this entire apology. In fact, this is actually found on his YouTube channel, in which he actually did this interview video with the guy who played Tebow and iCarly, Boogie, in which they discuss about what has happened, and he tried to make this entire apology, and nobody's buying it. And this video, holy crap, has it been getting backlash? Like, not only are the comments completely turned off, and I think you can guess as to why, but even the dude is getting ratioed absolutely hard. Like, yeah, he has gathered 11,000 likes on this video, but at the same time, he's also been gathering 134 dislikes on this. And honestly, after watching this, yeah, I understand as to why. Nobody is freaking buying the apology because his apology is full of crap. Like, it doesn't actually sound very sincere based on, like, what we have heard about the stories of Dan Schneider in the documentary over here. And then suddenly watching this, it's like, yeah, no, they're like, these are two completely different people. And like, you could tell that with this one, it is artificial. Like, it's so artificial that you question if it was, if like the apology was written on an AI script or something like that. Because I can guarantee you, this is a guy who had no remorse over what happened to any of the actors. Like, yeah, he'll pretend to show that he would care about the people that he worked with on set, but then afterwards, like, they're just on their own. Like, this dude's top priority is just being a success and gaining as much power. I would even say that Dan Schneider, I would say he is indeed an innovator. This is a guy who is a pioneer in this field, like in terms of making kid-friendly television, but for all the wrong reasons. This guy has festered such a dangerous, toxic work environment that he found new ways in order to go and traumatize kid actors, to really go out of his way and to really make this kind of environment where it would seem like a dream when the kids are working on set and making like these comedy sketches and stuff like that. But then afterwards, they would be scarred for life, and their life would legit be worse, where they would look back and realize that what they're doing is just flat out wrong. Not to mention the sheer misogyny on this guy, that he just views women as nothing more as just sex objects, regardless of their age even, where he demands that there's someone on the set to go and give him a back massage, which is usually always a woman, and even the ways that they would go, that he would want to go and present these girls, like regardless if they're like 12 or 16 or whatever, have them in these kinds of scenarios where the punchlines are just way too sexual, like way too uncomfortable. And honestly, it's because of that kind of comedy style. It's why I don't think I could ever look back and rewatch stuff like All That or The Amanda Show, because yeah, many of these implications, like, they are indeed extremely creepy. Not to mention that with that kind of comedy style and with the kind of toxic work environment where he can be like a very fierce and like threatening boss, like, it's kind of the reason why, like, it shouldn't be that much of a surprise in which child predators would be festering onto the set. You know, like, you probably, like, if you've watched the documentary, then you know that there were 3 child predators within during the time when Dan Schneider was taking over Nickelodeon, one of which being the infamous Brian Peck, who is an absolute monster of a human being. And with the way Dan Schneider works around, where he would be sexualizing minors and using them as gags, and the way that he keeps collecting power, like what a predator has to do is just sneak his way onto the set of Nickelodeon, like go inside Nickelodeon on Sunset, and just keep feeding on the ego of Dan Schneider, and they would be all good. They would be well protected, and as long as they keep hiding their little secret, doing their sneaky little things in order to manipulate these kids, they would go and try to get away with it. And in some cases, they would, like, which is the case with Brian Peck, where he has a lot of power and a lot of connections, where even after he got called out for the things that he has done for Drake Bell, like, he would get out of jail not that long afterwards and still be working, where he would find himself on the Disney Channel working on The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. Like, it really is that bad. And honestly, like, as much as like those people are legitimate child predators, I would honestly consider Dan Schneider as a child predator as well. Like, we don't know if he actually has a record of actually assaulting any of these kids, but the way that he would treat them, especially with the kind of gags that he would do, and especially a lot of them that they would just be like cum shots as like a punchline, where like a girl would be like splooged in the face with some kind of weird substance. Like, in that regard, like, honestly, the dude is an absolute creep. And yeah, like, with this apology, nah, like, no one is buying it, and the dude deserves to live the rest of his life to face the consequences for his actions. And honestly, it's people like Dan Schneider, the reason why one of the best things to happen in recent years is the hashtag Me Too movement, to go and raise awareness, not just on women being harassed and assaulted on movie sets, but also to put up a highlight on poor working conditions and to emphasize the well-being of others, especially when it comes to child actors, because they are the most susceptible to face this kind of trauma, and that when they face it early, it's going to be something that would really ruin the rest of their lives, such as what we have seen with people like Amanda Bynes or Drake Bell, or with some of the people that they would go and talk to in Quiet on Set, where they would talk about their substance abuse with trying to cope after what they have experienced during their time on Nickelodeon. And even Nickelodeon deserves to have some form of scrutiny as well, where they barely did much to go and address any of the issues. And at the most, at the end of each episode, all they would say is that, oh, Nickelodeon responded with, oh, we're taking care of things. We're trying to be more aware about protecting the kid actors and stuff like that, with not much heart into it. So overall, yeah, like honestly, with this entire experience, like a lot of these responses, they have been cringe. Like I can give Josh Peck a pass because like that, like it's most likely a misunderstanding, and he is putting in effort to actually help out Drake Bell. But with the others, like with the Ned's Declassified and with Dan Schneider, I don't know, I don't say this often, but honestly, those people can go fuck themselves. Especially Dan Schneider, like the kind of abuser that he is, with the kind of toxic work environment that he would go and put in. Nah, this man deserves to live the rest of his life to be just flat out canceled. Like, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he'll try to make a comeback and try to say something like, woke culture is trying to cancel me! Help me from these SJW liberals! No, like, honestly, no, this guy deserves to be canceled and deserves to be labeled as a monster. Now, I know that, yeah, like we went into some very heavy subjects, but before I go and ask you all your thoughts about it, I want to go and cap this off on a positive note, and I want to show you what is possibly the best response from all this. Like the one person who knows what to say, or technically not say, and honestly, it's worth checking out. I think it's a good way to go and cap this off. So let's take a look at the response of Steve Burns, yes, our boy from Blue's Clues, and let's see how it is done on how you should respond in something like this. So, Steve, take it away. Hold on a sec. Steve, take it away. Let's do that again. Fudge nabbit, are you not loading? Fudge nabbit, I tried to set this up and yet it's, oh no, okay, there we go.
I'm checking in.
He didn't say much, but that says a lot. That is beautiful. So I just want to go and take a quick break just to go and quickly refresh before like the ads suddenly come back on Twitch. But when we do return, I would love to know your thoughts and to have your comments about the entire situation, about the documentary of Quiet on Set. So I would love to know what you think. So let's go on to our break. Write down your comments and we'll get back to you on that. All right, so we are back. So I would like to know, what are your thoughts? What are your comments? So what did you write down? Let's see now. As someone who has watched these Nickelodeon shows, this definitely burns. Worst part is that Nickelodeon themselves don't desperately try to hide it, even try to bribe Jeanette McCurdy to not talk about their experience in her book. Honestly, the only way to rewatch the show is by watching Quentin Review's Nickelodeon sitcom videos, even though they are very long. Yeah, well, I mean, nowadays it's pretty common for YouTube videos to become like over an hour long and stuff like that. So honestly, I definitely do respect what Quentin has done with his recent videos about the Nickelodeon shows. So yeah, they could definitely be a good alternative there. Let's see. While I definitely thought the documentary was very good, it was honestly also a struggle to get through, especially as someone who grew up with The Amanda Show and Drake and Josh. Seeing what the cast went through is just tragic, and I'm really proud that the cast came out about it. And Nickelodeon is definitely facing consequences. Seriously, the only good response is from Steve Burns, proving once again that the man is a national treasure. No, I definitely do agree. Let's see. If this was Warner Brothers' way, well, I don't know if it's Warner Brothers. Technically, well, the main company is Paramount. If this was Paramount's way to kill Nickelodeon and Paramount Plus, I'm proud of them to. No, wait, no, sorry. No, I do get what you mean because this, the documentary was released on HBO Max. This is technically a Warner Brothers documentary. Now I get what you mean. Okay, now I understand. Sorry. If this was Warner Brothers' way to kill Nickelodeon and Paramount Plus, I'm proud of them to figuring out how to use their destructive powers on something other than themselves. I already knew that Nickelodeon had their bad apples, but I had no idea just how rotten the whole tree was. Nickelodeon was a big part of my childhood, so finding out that the first network for kids was a place where kids should never be is absolutely devastating to me. Little Bill was only the tip of the iceberg. Oh yeah, the less we talk about that, the better. I saw Quiet on Set on Saturday night. While this is good, this is horrifying and hard to watch, especially Drake Bell being the biggest of them. While I was more into watching Big Time Rush as a kid, made by Johnny Test Creator, I was never a fan of Dan Schneider's shows, despite watching several episodes of iCarly and Victorious, for example. This series shows how Schneider and the other crew members were terrible people and how they treated child actors on set. Kids need to be protected. And yeah, and there should be more provisions on like movie sets and entertainment sets where they need to like make sure the kids are all right, that their well-being is like a top priority. All right, let's see now. I've heard about this for years, long before the documentary. At least now the general public are more aware of this. Yes, I did watch and enjoy The Amanda Show and Drake and Josh as a kid, but I watched these shows just to be just away from my SpongeBob and other Nicktoons. I never liked Dan Schneider at all. Even when I was a kid, I find him to be a massive show-off and has a very douchey personality. I just hope Dan does get what he deserves, like prison time. Let's just hope. Yeah, and I think that's like the major thing of why it is like very much talked about. It's mainly because of the fact that this is something that many Nickelodeon fans have been talking about for years. Like, Nick fans have been very well aware about the toxicity of Dan Schneider, the fact that he would develop this toxic work environment amongst the shows that he would go and produce, and that he has like this creepy little fetish that he would go and express with the child actors, rather it be with Amanda Bynes or with some of the people in All That, or with young Ariana Grande, or especially with his like weird crazy foot fetish. It's just like, yeah, no, we all knew something was very off, and we're glad that because of this documentary, like what Nick fans have known is now going into the public. Like, you know, we're pretty much at the point where, like, after all these years, we're like, this is what we've been talking about. We told you. Oh, let's see what else we have here. I am so sorry for what happened to these actors at Nickelodeon. I haven't seen the docuseries, but no actor ever deserves to go through all that. I'm glad that Drake and Josh are still friends, and I hope that all the other actors are doing out okay after all this. Also, this is my message to Ned's Declassified cast and Dan Schneider. This is not a joke, and the way you reacted to this is disrespectful. Let's see what other, Ooh, I'm getting the hiccups. Sorry about that. What other comments are there? Yeah, okay. Let's see. As hard of a topic as this is to stomach, it is absolutely a necessary listen. All of these things that no one should be subjected to at any age, let alone children, and for the other former child stars to belittle it all, it's something that should not be ignored. As for Dan's apology, can't say I'm surprised. How many famous names who have gotten away with such travesties for years have given genuine apologies and successfully changed as people? Exactly. And with someone like Dan Schneider, like, this is someone who obviously has no idea how to handle the situation. Like, yeah, it's one thing that he got called out during the #MeToo movement and was let go by Nickelodeon, but now, like, he is facing some, like, legit public backlash for this. It's like, you know, this is like karma after the years of how he handled these productions, like now officially coming back to haunt him. You know, like, and at this point, like, you could tell that with the apology that he tried to do with that YouTube video, like, this was obviously just something that he just you know, like, it was just a desperate attempt to try to soften the blow, to make sure that he doesn't face as much consequences to his actions as he is currently getting. But it ain't working. Like, this, honestly, it's just making things so much worse. Not to mention that, like, other videos are more popular and more aware. Like, Penguin Zero's video, like, actually has more views than the actual video itself. Or especially one of the co-stars and one of the people who got interviewed in Quiet on Set, Alexa Nicholas, actually shared her piece and, like, slammed Dan hard on this one. So it definitely is worth mentioning. Let's see, what other comments are there to go and mention? I haven't watched Quiet on Set yet. Maybe I will if I find the time, but I think the main reason why I didn't watch this documentary right away was because I already knew about some of this stuff. Not just Dan Schneider and how much of an absolute creep he is, but Brian Peck and more of what went on behind the scenes. Just the fact that Nickelodeon allowed this kind of toxic behavior to flourish and not do anything about it really is sickening and clearly shows where the priorities are. Exactly, and I honestly do feel like Nickelodeon should actually get as much consequence as Dan Schneider is right now. Like, I know Drake Bell, he, I think there was an article, I just want to go and quickly find it. Yeah, like, Drake Bell, actually, he called out Nickelodeon, saying that, you know, like, right here, the headline says, Drake Bell says Nickelodeon's response to Quiet on Set is pretty empty. They still show our shows while I have to pay for my own therapy. And it is true. Like, technically, Paramount is still profiting off of the syndication and, like, the streaming revenue of these shows, like iCarly and Victorious and Drake and Josh and all that kind of stuff, while giving nothing back to the child actors. Like, they're as much responsible for this as Dan Schneider here. So yeah, like, honestly, we need to give a lot of crap to Nickelodeon as well for the fact that, like, the way that they're handling the situation is soulless. They should not, like, yeah, they're not like a single entity to, like, put our target into as much as Dan Schneider, but they are equally as responsible. All right, I think I'll just read one more comment and then we'll cap this off here. I am so sorry to what happened to these actors and Nickelodeon. I haven't seen the docuseries, but no actor ever deserves to go through that at all. I'm glad. Oh no, I think I already read that one. Sorry about that. What other? No, wait, hold on. What would be another comment to read? Okay, let's go here. All to say, welcome to the club of destroyed childhoods. Well, we've been expecting you. Seriously though, what I have to say in the doc is quite a mouthful, but truthfully, to say almost everything that happens, I couldn't be any more sorry more so for the kids that did these stunts. Jeanette McCurdy and Drake's dad should be considered heroes for what they saw that we can't. But Steve, we couldn't have a better teacher in our lives for sure. You are my hero and artist. Oh yeah, like, I'll just even say now, the most tragic figure, debatably the most tragic figure of that entire documentary, more so than Drake Bell, would have to be Drake Bell's dad. Like, oh my god. Like, I felt legitimately heartbroken for that guy.